Hey, what's up guys? So, let's take a moment to talk about Mikasa. We found out some pretty interesting stuff about her in chapter 107, and got an interesting hint of something else that might be going on in this last chapter. But before we go any further, I want you to know that these videos are going to contain spoilers. So if you haven't read the latest chapter, then what are you doing with your life? Seriously, if you don't want spoilers, then you might want to click on something else. If you're all caught up though, then let's get to it. In chapter 107, you know what happened, you were there. There was a big reveal that surprisingly not that many people are actually talking about much, seems like. But we're gonna talk about it right here, right now, so put your seatbelts on or whatever. So anyway, Mikasa. In chapter 107, it was revealed that Mikasa is in fact no less than royalty. She is literally a descendant from the prince of the Azumabito clan that got stuck here on Paradise Island when all that shit went down 100 years ago. So not only did we finally get an explanation for Mikasa's origins and why she appears to be the only Asian person within the walls, or a person of like any other race than Eldian, but not only that, we also learned that she's basically a princess. What? Mikasa's a princess? Is this feeling just a little bit Disney almost? But anyway, this was so kind of like out of the ballpark for me. Like, I did not expect anything like this to happen. So, and I really don't know where the heck Isayama's going to go with this either. Like, literally so many things could come of this. But I'll leave my predictions for a later video because I don't really have any solid ones right now. But in this video is actually going to be kind of a manga/anime discussion. This is a first for this channel. I mean, I've mentioned the anime in my manga discussions before, but this is just a little bit different. Because what I really want to talk about is the differences that we've been seeing in the manga and the anime regarding Mikasa, and what it could mean for how the anime might diverge from the manga. Obviously, we've been seeing a lot of changes in Season 3. A lot of people are complaining that they're toning down the violence. They've definitely changed the timeline around a lot. So I feel like I'm gonna have to start talking about the manga and the anime as two separate universes unto themselves. So, the first thing that should be noted is something I'm sure you're all already aware of, is the fact that Mikasa, this mark that we saw in chapter 107 that she revealed, was originally given to her by her mother. We saw this scene in the manga in the beginning, however, this scene was cut out in the anime. This already brought up what this means for Mikasa's character into question, as to what's going to be happening with her in the anime, if her lineage is going to be included at all, or if Isayama is going to take the end of the anime in a completely different direction. Because remember, he's the one behind all of these changes. He wants this to happen. And I, for one, am really interested to see what he's gonna do with all this. So, this is gonna be a wild ride. But anyway, we all know about that bit. But there was something I noticed this season, which quite interestingly seems to coincide with the manga a little bit. Coincidentally, this scene just happened to come around the same time as this was revealed in the manga. Maybe it's just me, but there seems to be some interesting parallels that go on when the anime is running between what's going on in the story with the manga. Like, for example, last year, you know, we had the Marley arc, and we had Season 2, and both of those, you know, storylines were very much focused on Reiner and Eren and their, you know, relationship, and I mean, there are other overarching stories going on, but there was kind of a general underlying focus on that, you know what I mean? So maybe it's a coincidence, but I just think that that's interesting that the same thing seems to be happening this season. There's a really heavy focus on Historia in the ending credits and in the story so far. And there's also been some heavy focus on Historia in the manga right now, with her being pregnant and all that. So I think that's pretty interesting. And I'm gonna keep keeping my eye out for any other interesting parallels or coincidences that we might see going on here. But anyway, the scene that I wanted to point out to you guys is that scene in the warehouse. I don't know if many of you noticed this, but this stood out to me like it glowed in the dark. Probably just because we just had this reveal in the manga, and I was preparing to do this video about it last month, but I only ended up doing like half of it and putting it in another video. Mostly that was just correcting myself on the fact that I didn't think Mikasa had had her wrist covered all this time, but of course she has had her wrist covered. She's always had this bandage on it in any scene that she wasn't wearing long sleeves. So in the manga during this scene, she's wearing one of these bandages. She's got her sleeves rolled up, her forearms are exposed, and she's got a bandage around her wrist. However, in the anime, she has long sleeves. Her arms are totally covered. You can't see whether there's a bandage or not. And, so what the heck does that mean? Now, like I said in my review that I just did of chapter 108 about the scene with Niccolo and the bottle of wine, sometimes insignificant details can mean a lot in this anime. So the fact that the animators chose to cover Mikasa's arms instead of showing the bandage, on top of the fact that they took out the scene of Mikasa actually receiving this mark from her mother when she was a child, why would they choose to do this? Maybe for some reason they're just trying to find a more covert way to hide Mikasa's secret, but I don't know why they would do that. The only thing that makes sense to me as to why they would change these things and cut these things out is that they plan to change the end of the story in some way. Now, I could be wrong. I don't want to worry anybody, but people have been talking about this forever anyway. We all know that the ending of the anime might not be exactly the same as the manga. In fact, I'm sure the manga is probably going to end up being a lot darker. Of course, because that's the way it always happens. And they might also want to make things less complicated in the anime. I don't know, if they're making all of these changes to the Uprising arc, I can only imagine what they're going to be doing with the Marley arc, and with the arc that we're in right now. Whatever arc it is. Are we still in the Marley arc? I really don't even know. I'm not really sure if Isayama has said anything about this recently, about how much the anime is actually going to change. I'm not really good at keeping up with all those interviews and stuff. I just read the manga and share my opinions. That's it. That's all I do. So feel free to enlighten me in the comments if you want to. Alright guys, so what do you guys think about all this? Do you think this could be indications that they're going to be changing the end of Attack on Titan a lot in the anime? Or do you think there could be some other purpose for this? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. And also, what did you think of Mikasa's reveal? Did you see this coming? Or did this take you totally by surprise like it did me? Did you notice the bandage all this time? Because I sure didn't. Also, what do you think is going to happen with Mikasa and Hizuto? In the last chapter, Jean said that they had plans. What do you think those plans are? With all this stuff with Historia going on, I'm kind of wondering if Mikasa is going to be pressured into having an heir for the Azumabito clan as well. But I guess we'll see what happens. Do you think Mikasa is going to become a queen someday? That'd be pretty trippy. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this chapter 107/108 discussion. Come back next week for a new discussion. And sorry guys, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with the anime videos. Like, I want to do reviews, but it's like, there's so much that I want to talk about that's in the anime, all the changes that they're making, and it's just like, I just like don't physically have the time to do everything that I want to do, and it's kind of boggling my mind a little bit. But anyway, I'm gonna start trying to get something out soon. I think I'm gonna keep doing the reactions, you know, Serum Bowl. You're gonna see my reaction to that for sure. Anyway, I might just start making some really short review of just me talking about the episode right after I watch it, and then after the season wraps up, I can start doing some like deeper discussion and comparative analysis videos on the anime and whatnot. So yeah, it's just time. There's never enough time. So anyway guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. Visit me on Facebook and Twitter, and check out my Patreon if you want to help support this channel. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.